Asian Americans, or Americans of Asian descent, are part of one of the nation's fastest growing and most diverse demographic groups, growing from 11.9 million in 2000 to 20.4 million in 2015, accounting for nearly 6% of the US population. Despite accounting for such a large percentage of the American population, Asian Americans remain highly underrepresented in American culture, with less than 1% of all leading roles in Hollywood featuring an actor of Asian descent. With the recent coronavirus outbreak originating in one of China's major cities and the deliberate use of terms like Chinese virus, Asian Americans have been the target of increased racism and xenophobia in recent months. My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'm going to be remotely sitting down with Asian Americans to learn what it's like for Asians living in America and how things have changed during this pandemic. Do Asian Americans feel accepted by those in the country they reside? Or have these times of national stress shined a bright light on society's darker, prevailing stereotypes? Hi, Benny.
How's it going?
Sophie.
Hi.
Nikita.
Hello, Anthony.
Thank you so much for coming on and teaching me about the wondrous world of being Asian American.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So what do you consider yourself? Asian American? Something more specific?
I guess I would just consider myself Asian American.
Asian American. I am half Chinese and half Hungarian.
Asian American. I mean, I was born and raised in San Francisco, so I think that I'm as American as anybody could be, and but obviously I'm Asian.
Right. And it's as simple as that. Do you find yourself discussing and talking about your race much, or is that something that kind of sits more in the background?
Personally, for me, I definitely see myself talking about my race more than usual because of everything that's been going on with coronavirus and Asian Americans and Asian all over the world seeming like they've become the scapegoat for everything that's happening right now.
Were you raised to be considerably proud of your Asian roots, or do you feel like it just wasn't discussed enough to have a big impact on you in your life?
I didn't think too much about like having that sort of Asian pride in general, maybe up until I would say end of middle school and all over high school.
I feel like growing up, I was a little bit more insecure about being Asian, but later on, as I saw more Asians in the media and I started like encountering more Asians in my life, I grew like more secure about my identity and like more proud of who I am.
What are some things you feel Asian Americans deal with that most Americans that are not Asian might not have to deal with?
Like I tutor kids, and like there's like this really young kid, and she would constantly like do racist, like she would constantly do this towards me.
Really?
Yeah, which
From little
I think
kids?
Yeah, little kids, which I think is insane because she's so young.
Yeah, she had to learn that from someone or something, right?
It's crazy how that can be taught to our youth so quickly.
I definitely have seen like my fair share of like racism and discrimination. I was a 7th grader, and one time I had just gone to the movies with some friends, and I was walking by what I thought was a really nice couple, and then all of a sudden, like as I'm walking by, I hear like the old man go, Chinaman. Like
what?
Yeah, right.
And you're in 7th grade?
I was in 7th grade, and I was like, and it was funny because like as I was walking by them, I could distinctly remember, wow, what a nice like that looks like a very nice old couple. A lot of Asian Americans have dealt with something on some level there, whether even if it's as low as like a microaggression an experience that you saw that I've gone to. A lot of Asian Americans do remain silent. One of the main things that I've heard was like, hey, like don't cause trouble, like just don't cause too much trouble. If it's not that big of a deal, don't worry about it.
Have you ever felt someone having false expectations of you just based solely on your race?
All throughout my years in school, people kind of expected that since I'm Asian that I would be like a lot smarter than everyone, and they would like always like pick on me to be with them in their group project. That's definitely not the case, because like anyone could be like really smart. It's just like a stereotype.
Right, yeah. And some people will say, oh, it's a positive stereotype. We're saying that you're smart, that's a good thing, but you're still being lumped in with an entire race.
Yeah, and it puts a lot of pressure on me because it's like, oh, we expect you to succeed.
Also being a lesbian and also being Asian, a lot of Asian cultures don't really see that as a good thing. You have to live up to all of these certain stereotypes and all of these generalizations that being gay and being Asian doesn't compute to a lot of people. And being Asian and not being like good at math doesn't compute to a lot of people either.
Have you noticed a change in people's behavior around you since the coronavirus outbreak?
There were these 3 teenage boys who were walking down the aisle, and they were like, do it now, do it now, do it now. And then my other coworker was with me too, and she's also Asian as well, and we were just folding the table. And they walked behind us, and they cough. They went right behind us.
Did you feel any racism like this before the outbreak, or is this something that's brand new to you?
I've never really experienced like blatant racism, a blatant like almost attack. It was obviously a harassment.
It was targeted.
It was a targeted harassment in a way.
Just by seeing how the world is, right? I see a lot of anti-Asian rhetoric, and seeing the increase of attacks of Asian Americans. I mean, just to give you some statistics, I mean, since like March 26, when organizations started, putting out forms for people to report on, alleged hate crimes targeting the Asian community, they're getting 100, incidents reports a day.
Wow. And you can only imagine that there's a very, very small percentage that are even taking the time to fill out this report.
Yeah, exactly. Because we tend to remain silent.
A lot of people make racist remarks towards me, and like over half of them are relating to coronavirus, which shows you how like the corona has like influence their thought towards like Asians. So I've been going on Omegle for like the past week or so. I've also found a lot of racist hoes on here.
Are you the one who ate the bat?
You made coronavirus. I hate you.
I can't wait till America sends mad nuke missiles to China, Japan, all of Asia pretty much. They're going to literally eliminate everyone with eyeballs like this.
What were you hoping the takeaway would be from that video going online?
People are being horrible to Asians now, and especially due to the coronavirus, it's gotten a lot worse now.
What kind of reactions have you been getting around that?
Mostly positive, honestly. Everyone's super supportive. I got a lot of people who told me that they didn't realize Asians were being treated this way. They didn't realize people were saying this kind of things to Asians. It's really awesome because it's like we're like exposing how this is actually happening and how this is actually a thing.
Have you had other Asian Americans reaching out to you?
Actually, a lot of Asian Americans reached out to me saying that they went through the same kind of thing and how they're like thankful that I exposed this to the world to see.
Before we learn more about the wondrous world of being Asian American, I just want to take a quick moment to say we received over 300 video submissions from Asian Americans excited about the prospect of appearing as guests on the show, and I really appreciate that so many of you trust me in representing you and your unique struggles accurately. I really wish I had the ability to sit down and speak with every single one of you, and I look forward to covering more topics that pertain to such a vast amount of you in the future. That's all I wanted to say. Now back to learning about the wondrous world of being Asian American. Have you personally felt the need to change your behavior at all due to the xenophobia and racism surrounding COVID-19?
Yes, I feel bad doing this because I feel like I am just eating into it. Every time like I need to feel like coughing or sneezing in public now, I feel like I have to hold it in. And I'm so mindful now of everybody around me. I'm like, oh, am I 6 feet
You don't want them
person?
to feel uncomfortable because of your race.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm just like, wait, there's something wrong here. Why am I thinking of this? I mean, I'm just as American as everyone else. This is my home. Like, why do I gotta feel bad?
People at work see me and they're like, I'm not gonna talk to her. I don't want to catch anything from her. And so I felt like I needed to become nicer and more upbeat towards people and be like, hi, yes, how can I help you? And like,
you want to be really inviting and you want to show that you're kind and like warranted of their respect.
Exactly. So it's kind of taken a toll on my mental health because I'm like, why do I need to keep doing this? Why do I need to keep putting up a front to show that I'm a nice person and that I don't have coronavirus?
Growing up in the 90s, I feel like I couldn't convince myself that the US was moving away from the racism of the 1960s after the Civil Rights Movement. I kind of felt like we were on track to become accepting of all people, and I thought that it was, nowhere but up. And I had a rude awakening that just wasn't the case. Have you ever felt like you had that rude awakening moment?
I think it's easy when you're young and you're reading these things to kind of make that assumption where it's like, wow, like, these guys fought for our rights. Now there's no segregation. There's
all progress, nothing but up from here.
My colored people don't have to be here and white people don't have to be here. There's that expectation that dream was realized. But no, I mean, you see like African Americans still being targeted by the cops. You see, Chinese Americans right now still suffering suffering through racism. You see racism targeted towards Latinos. I mean, everything. Like there's so many things out there. All these civil rights leaders like laid a very, very solid groundwork. But I think that there's so much work to be done amongst minority communities to help take that sort of mantle to continue the work.
How do you feel when some people with less empathy express that, they can't make jokes like they used to, that people are too sensitive regarding racism and things like that?
You got to evolve. Some of these jokes perpetuate pain in some of these people and some of these things that they don't really want to, get back to. It's not up to you to decide whether this person should be offended or not if it doesn't really relate to you and if you have not walked in this person's shoes before.
Slushy wants to know if you ever get treated like you're a foreigner.
I mean, sometimes, because a lot of people would ask me where I'm from, and of course my answer is America because I was born in America. But then they would go on to be like, no, where are you really from?
I hear so many people get that.
Yeah, but I'm from America. I was born in America.
I've been asked questions like, your English is really good. That has been said to me. Or, no, I swear.
Wow. How do you feel about the way Asian Americans are portrayed in film and television?
I think that it's definitely getting better in recent years. It was no secret that we were pushed towards more stereotypical roles where it's like playing the foreigner. Asian men were very emasculated. Asian women were more pushed towards submissive or dragon lady. But I think that now, especially in the last 2 years with Crazy Rich Asians, with Parasite that just won multiple Academy Awards, unprecedented. TV shows like Fresh Off the Boat or Kim's Convenience, all these things that paint Asian Americans more in a diverse environment. I think that's definitely helping a lot.
How do you feel about certain people deliberately calling the coronavirus the Chinese virus or the Kung flu?
It's really upsetting, honestly, because yes, it did originate in China,
right.
But if you use that argument to apply to other diseases like Lyme disease or Ebola. Lyme disease originated from Lyme, Connecticut, and Ebola originated from the Ebola River in Congo. They weren't named after a whole ethnicity.
And I do believe that, using the term does perpetuate anti-Asian sentiments because of, the nuances and the things that have kind of happened.
And we're seeing it firsthand. We're seeing the effects of what that has done.
And when you see this rise of racist attacks, physical and verbal, against Asian Americans, that's something you need to pay attention to.
I feel like Asians and Chinese peoples in particular have always been a group that he's always kind of targeted. There was a time when he called global warming a hoax that was perpetrated by the Chinese. I feel like a lot of what he's doing is just trying to spread racism and trying to spread hatred against Asian people.
What would you say to anyone who's feeling particularly discriminated against during this pandemic?
Connect with your community and try to find people who understand you, because there are people who will understand you. Your feelings of oppression are not invalid.
What do you think the biggest misconception is about Asian Americans in general?
Asians and Asian Americans are different. Completely different culture. We believe in, different things, especially since we're raised, under American culture. We consumed American media. Maybe I look different than you, but I think I am just as American as you guys.
I actually have a parting gift for you, a Best Interviewer shirt, which you could get at padilloshop.com. But for you, I will ship this to you directly to your home for free.
Thank you.
Look at that. That's just the flawless look.
I feel so beautiful.
Your perfect makeup only accentuates the perfection of the shirt.
Thank you.
All right, you got 5 seconds to shout out or promote anything you want directly into camera. Go.
Follow me on Instagram, Benny Lu, Luo, last name, or follow us at Next Shark.
Follow my Instagram account at flowering.site, and don't be a dick to people. Be nice.
Follow my Instagrams at Sophie Wang, and thank you to all the frontline health workers.
Just subscribe to Anthony. I mean, come on. Haven't you seen him for years? He's literally been around forever.
In YouTube years, I am at least 175.
Oh, yeah.
And I am holding it on so damn well. Thank you so much, Benny. I feel like I understand the wondrous world of being Asian American just a little bit more.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, man.
After spending the day with these Asian Americans, I've learned just how much of a difference one's ancestry and culture can affect everyday life, even in a nation as diverse as America. Now, more than ever, we should show acceptance of all people, regardless of background and culture. When nearly everyone on the planet has been negatively affected by this pandemic, we should be going out of our way to celebrate our differences and express empathy for everyone around us. See you later, bye guys.
Press a like.
Right. Fireworks, guys. Literally, people in my neighborhood are shooting fireworks like nothing's wrong. They're driving ice cream trucks. Okay. Ooh, SpongeBob ice cream.
People are still doing that.
Give me a rocket
SpongeBob
pop.
ice cream.
It's 8:15 and the pitch black darkness outside during a pandemic.
I could still use a SpongeBob popsicle. We all need it.
We do all need a SpongeBob popsicle. That's exactly what we need for comfort food right now.
I highly agree.
Okay, the menace is gone. Enough.